What is up, football fans, UFL fans, but most importantly, Houston Roughnecks fans? Welcome to the third episode of the week of Roughnecks Rundown. Dude, let's get into it.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly.
All right, so you're probably wondering, Ace, this is your third episode of the week. You had your normal episode, you had your interview with Elijah Rogers. Why are you doing another episode? Okay, well, I'm doing a third episode because there's, unforeseen circumstances. Well, foreseen, but, it's something that's not normal. We have the dispersal draft. Now we had the divisional dispersal draft, and now we have the full-on dispersal draft, super draft, which is super cool that they're calling it super draft. I'm all in. It's awesome. And there's a lot of players out there that have not been signed yet that we want to see what's going to happen. So throughout this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to look at the numbers, players by position, by the number for the Roughnecks. We're going to see how many we have at each position. We're going to talk about the needs that we have. And then I'm going to go through and give you kind of a wish list of the players that I hope that we are at least looking at in the dispersal draft. Okay. So a lot to go over. There's so many names. If you're in the PFN Discord, there's a Google Sheets form out there, and it's got all the names of all the players who are out there. They were either unprotected or they're a free agent or their team was dissolved. So there's a lot of players out there to look at. And so I looked at those lists and I said, well, these are the players that I like. So let's go look at them. So Roughnecks needs and wish list. Like I said, we're going to go through and we're going to talk about how many players we have at each position, what we need, and then who I think we should grab. So first thing we're going to look at, numbers by position. 2 QBs, which means obviously we need a third because you have to have 3. Let me pull my chair up. Let's get right up in here. 4 running backs. That's a good number. That's what we went into camp last year as. We kept 3 on the roster. 4 is okay. 8 wide receivers, that's good. Usually you just have a lot of wide receivers. 5 tight ends. That's an interesting one. We picked up 3 in the dispersal draft, and we already had 2 that we protected. So that's a lot of tight ends. O-line, we had 12. If you're looking at this, you might look at the numbers and say, no, Ace, we have 12. Well, I've heard it from a bunch of different sources. Paul Adams, all USFL 2023, offensive guard that we drafted in the divisional dispersal draft, has retired. He, saw he was going to the Roughnecks. He probably talked it out with his family and he decided he's not playing anymore. So we lost him. So we only have 11. Then we have 6 defensive ends, 7 defensive tackles, which is crazy, especially when we're doing our 3-4 packages, our 3-3-5 packages. We have 7 defensive tackles. We can swap them out and go from the top 2 defensive tackles in the league to then the 3rd and 4th defensive tackles in the league. So it's crazy. 7 linebackers, which sounds like a lot, but I still think that we could add there. 6 corners, 4 safeties, 1 punter, 0 kicker, 0 long snapper. That's not that uncommon. You might be thinking, oh, you have to have a kicker. You have to have a long snapper. You're absolutely right. But a lot of the teams did not keep a punter, kicker, or long snapper in the divisional dispersal draft because there was so much talent out there that they really wanted to make sure that they were able to get all the positions that they needed. And then they're going to go fill these in the probably super draft. So coming up here. Also, I thought it would be fun. Jeremiah Johnson, JJ Johnson, number 41, number 74, Avery Genesee. These are guys who have been on the Houston Gamblers the past 2 years. And the year before that, or 2 years before that, in 2020, they were on the Roughnecks. So they're going from Roughnecks, Gamblers, back to Roughnecks. So it's really exciting. And that's cool to see. Now, let's move on. Best guess at the additions. We have 14 spots available, right? So if you look back, let's go back 1. We have 61 total players now. Going into training camp, the thing is that it's going to be 75 players. So there's going to be 75. We have 14 total spots left. Now, my best guess, it's literally just my best guess at where we're going to fill. We can come back next week after the draft, maybe even if we live stream during the super draft, then we'll see how I did. So we're going to pick up a quarterback. We have to. We might do it in the dispersal draft. I think we could. There's some people on my wish list. I think it would work. But It's almost more likely that I believe Lionel Vital, the GM of the Houston Roughnecks, is going to be looking elsewhere. He's going to be looking at the people who got cut on Black Monday in the NFL. He's going to be looking at the players who are QB2, QB3, and maybe just need more game tape, who are going to lose their job once their team loses the playoffs. I don't know. We obviously need a kicker. We need a long snapper. Then linebacker. We picked up Reuben Foster. We picked up Gabe Sewell. We have good guys from last year, but I think that's a position that it really is important in spring football. You look at the Frank Gindas, you look at the Kiava Tizinos, you look at the Chris Orrs. They take care of the defense. They do all the play calling. They make sure everybody's in the right position. They are the quarterback of the defense. And while we have Reuben Foster, while we have Gabe Sewell, while we have the returning players from last year, Isaiah Pryor, all them, JT Tyler, absolutely underutilized, respected guy in the league. That's a good dude. But I think that we could add another player of high enough quality that we can create the depth. So linebacker, 2 corners. Now we have 2 corners and 2 safeties. We don't have as many defensive backs as I think we can take into camp. When you're talking to general managers, they're going to tell you every time that the 2 positions that are the hardest to fill are going to be the offensive line and defensive backs. You can find running backs dime a dozen. I mean, you're not going to find a Mark Thompson, Wes Hills, but you can fill a running back midseason and it's not going to affect your gameplay too bad. You can find wide receivers, but offensive line and defensive backs immediately affect the game, and they need to be there from day one to have the playbook, all those things. Then we need 2 offensive line. Paul Adams retired. We need another one just to make camp, the camp battle more competitive. Then I think defensive end, because we have 7 defensive tackles and only 6 defensive ends. Why not bring in another one? We have the best defensive line, hands down. I think that we can just create more competition in camp. I put safety again. Didn't mean to, but I think we could bring in another wide receiver. So you can never have too many bodies. And we have to fill 75, so why not? Now, let's move on to my wish list, okay? We need a quarterback. Number one, everybody, if you're watching this video and you're like, I want to see the wish list, you're probably thinking, I want to know who Ace thinks we should pick up as quarterback. And you're right. That's the position that everybody's going to be talking about. Number 1 on my list is Quinton Dormady. Now, Quinton Dormady, there was some off the field stuff with social media and all these things that really was just against him last year. Now, I'm going to try, if you didn't notice, this looks like a more high quality video, hopefully. I'm in OBS. I'm trying to up my game a little bit. So in doing so, I'm going to try to bring up a YouTube video right now. Here we go. We're going to go back to the presentation. Whoa, we have Quinton Dormady highlights. So let's look at him. Now, the thing about Quinton Dormady that I like is he's not afraid to throw the ball. He has the accuracy of Clayton Thorson. He has the physical capabilities of Clayton Thorson that, they really liked year 1 of the Gamblers. He has a great arm and he throws a tight ball. But coming up in this next highlight is something that I really think people don't talk about enough with Quinton Dormady. Watch right here. He's going to run the ball. He's faster than you think. And he didn't really question it. Nobody in the league is wondering if Quinton Dormady is going to throw the ball. Nobody believes that he's going to, that he's going to run the ball. But he does here, and he gains yards. He has a bunch of different highlights where he just runs the ball right here again. Apparently, the Sea Dragons just did not respect his run game at all. I think that he is a quarterback that people are not paying enough attention to, that we could get not too early. We don't have to blow our first round pick of the dispersal draft on him. But I think that he's a player that we should be paying attention to. And man, I think he would be the guy. If we go out and we get Quinton Dormady, I think that we are a playoff team immediately. Nobody's just going to hands down come in and manhandle us if we have Quinton Dormady. Number 2 is we have Brandon Silvers. He's already in the Roughnecks jersey. Brandon Silvers last year was a Houston Roughneck. He got pulled a couple times on the goal line. Cole McDonald would come in because they did a lot of packages with Cole McDonald out of Hawaii where he would just run the ball because he's just a huge quarterback who has the ability to run the ball into the end zone. Brandon Silvers can sling it. The dude, maybe he doesn't protect the ball as much as people want, but he's not afraid to sling the ball. He's going to get it out. He can go through his reads. That's another thing. Him and Quentin Dormady, the big thing about the two of them is that they are cerebral enough in the pocket to sit there, go through 1 and 2 reads, and maybe even their third, and hit it with an accurate pass. We have Jarrett Garantano, where if the first pass is not there, I don't believe that he's going to make that play. It's just his balls on his second and third read are so much less accurate that I worry about it. So Brandon Silvers, let's go again. I'm going to try and give you another highlight video. So let's go back to YouTube. What is copyright? I don't even know, man. Nobody knows what that means. So we're just going to watch him sling the ball a little bit. Like I said earlier, he really, especially if that first read is there, he's going to hit it. He's going to hit it accurately. That's something that's not that crazy. Kenji Bahar is going to do that. Jarrett Garantano is going to do that. But what I really like is that he's going to get the ball out. He's going to get it out quick. He's going to do it accurately. And he's not afraid to throw the ball. Kenji, a lot of times you feel like he doesn't want to throw interceptions. And I absolutely understand that, especially when you have a running back like Mark Thompson. You don't want to throw interceptions, but he still fumbled the ball. He didn't throw interceptions sometimes. Then this year we're coming in. We have a defensive line, the best defensive line in the league by far. We have Mark Thompson back. We might pick up another running back. Who knows? But we have the running backs from last year, TJ Pledger, those guys. I think that Brandon Silvers and Quentin Dormady put us over the top. Right here, Brandon Silvers, he saw that it was an offsides. He pulled an Aaron Rodgers and he threw the ball downfield. It turned into a touchdown. He just threw it up. These are the things that I'm looking for that I just wasn't seeing last year in our quarterbacks, and that I just really, really want to see this year. I want to see somebody come out and just sling the ball. I want to see offense, man. We just really didn't see offense outside of like Mark Thompson. And that's not fair to Roughnecks fans now, but Gamblers fans last year, that Mark Thompson really had to carry the entire load. I don't know. But Troy Williams from Pittsburgh, he throws a great ball. He's a lot more of a Kenji type where he can throw the ball, he can sit in the pocket, and he can read a defense. But that he can get it picked up with his legs. Akil Glass, another guy, HBCU dude, has a huge following online. People love this guy, and he's also a great passer, but he's unproven and he's younger. That's the big thing against him, is that we haven't seen him play. I don't know if he took a snap last year for the Breakers. They had MBT. They didn't need him. MBT didn't get hurt. He was an Iron Man. So those are the 4 guys. What I really, really want is somebody who can sit in the pocket, isn't going to be afraid, and is going to throw the ball. That's my biggest thing. Now let's move on to the wish list. We have linebackers. Like I said, we have good linebackers. I don't know if we have like a full depth linebacker core that we could have. Now, number 1, DeJuan Hines. He was kind of the linebacker 2 for the New Jersey Generals. It was Chris Orr and DeJuan Hines a lot. And then Bryson Young, who was kind of an edge outside linebacker hybrid type. We picked up Bryson Young in the divisional dispersal draft because he's a physical freak. The dude is he's what you create in Madden. So I'm glad we grabbed him. I'd also like to see DeJuan Hines. One, he has he's played with Bryson Young before, somebody to go into camp with, somebody that they're going to be able to learn together. I like that. But also DeJuan Hines racked up tackles last year. He was number 2 in tackles behind Chris Orr on the team. I like him. Then we have T. Gray Scales. T. Gray Scales, if you're a Gamblers fan, is not a crazy name. The dude was in the XFL 1.0 on the Renegades. Then he was in the USFL 2.0 on the Gamblers. Then after season 1, he went to the NFL on the Bengals with Dominique Davis, who is still on the Bengals. T. Gray then went back into the XFL. I have him over here on the side. He's flashing for some reason. I didn't mean to put that in animation. But he went to the Guardians. There's a lot of Guardians on my wish list. And a lot of you are going to be like, the Guardians were the worst team in the XFL. Why do you have all these players? Because it was not a talent problem. There was no talent problem in Orlando. There was a coaching problem, and there was a wanting to play for that coach problem. Nobody did. But T. Gray Scales, great to pick up. Tavon Coney and Joey Alfietti. These are 2 guys, Adam Rodriguez and Gabe Sewell. We drafted them. I think that bringing more players, if not just one of these guys, would be great for just the coherence of our defense. You love to have guys who have played together. You love to have guys who, have worked together, motivated each other. And the Stars defense got better last year, so I like it. Tavon Coney, he's wrestling a torn pectoral right now, but he's a dog, so he would be great to pick up. And then Joey Alfietti, he put up numbers. He was a good linebacker last year playing under Gabe Sewell. I like it. I like these guys. I think they would be good pickups. That's Joey Alfietti right there. He's friends with Gabe Sewell. He's friends with Adam Rodriguez. Why not bring him in to play with these guys? No brainer for me, but that's fine. Now, move on to defensive backs. We have a lot of defensive backs. I don't remember off the top of my head, but we have a lot. I think we have 8 or 9. We can always have more. Number 1, Brian Allen. Brian Allen was unprotected from the Birmingham Stallions. They are 100% trying to bring him back. I guarantee you the Stallions are going to try and bring Brian Allen back onto the team. We should snipe him. We should take him back because he is a good corner, and good corners are very hard to come by. He could start for us, and we'd get him in the super draft. We should get him. Ranthony Thomas, or Ranthony Texada. This one's just kind of biased for me because you can see right above me, right up here, I'm a Baylor fan, and the Tejadas, they're known at Baylor. I like the guy, and I thought he played well. I was surprised that he wasn't protected. A big thing was the change of regime. You went from Hines Ward to Wade Phillips, so that was a big thing. A lot of the players got dropped. They brought in tons and tons of Roughnecks. Now, Will Likely, well known. That says Houston, but that's Roughnecks. Season 1, he was the number 2 on the interception leaderboard in the USFL. He was an all USFL player. Will Likely is an absolute beast over at corner. He's getting older. He's not as fast, but his instincts and the intangibles are just there. And I'd love to see him back with the same guys that he was playing with Manny Bunch, with JJ Johnson. Like, I'd love to see him back on this team. So Will Likely 100% on there. And then Justin Ford, who we did not protect. That is Houston Gamblers. Justin Ford, that was probably the most surprising name that didn't get protected from the Gamblers. He came out of Montana, a lesser D1 school that people aren't paying as much attention to. But he was one of the premier lockdown press man and man coverage corners. I think he may have just missed it because we play a lot more zone. We blitz a lot. But man is still good to have. And, he was drafted in the USFL college draft by us. And then he was finally signed by Lionel Vital when Lionel came and took over GM. So I really thought he would make the cut because he obviously impressed both of our GMs. I don't know. He didn't get protected, but I think he's a guy that we could bring back. And I think it would be great to bring him back. I have him over here, him and Texada. Got him on the side. I think both of those guys would be great ads. So you guys pay attention to on Monday. Now, offensive line. Like I said, we have a fantastic offensive line. We're stacked. We look great. We brought back really good pieces. We added great pieces in Shamarius Gilmore, in Robert Myers. We got good guys. Jack Kramer at center to back up Nick Buchanan, but we can always do better. Now, offensive line is a really hard thing to pay attention to. It's really hard to know a lot about, but I do know a lot about these guys. John Yarbrough, he played last year on the Houston Roughnecks. He was a Houston Gambler the year before that. He was a starter for us. He got poached by the XFL. Why not bring him back? Bring him and Will Likely back. Bring him back to Houston. Staying in the town, right? Then Abdul Beecham. He was a Pittsburgh Mauler. He was a starter. He left the league to go to the XFL and started all season for the Orlando Guardians. These are starters. We're trying to bring in guys who have the game experience, who can come in if we need them to on a moment's notice and make a difference. That's exactly who we have. Those are the guys I want. So, that's what I'm paying attention to. I believe that that's the end of my presentation. But those are my wish list guys. The big thing that everybody's going to be paying attention to if you're a Roughnecks fan is the dispersal draft. You're going to say, are we taking a quarterback? And the answer is, I don't know. I hope so. I would love to see Quentin Dormady or Brandon Silvers. I think they would make an immediate impact, and we can win with them like right now. That we have Mark Thompson, right here, Mark Thompson, Chris Odom. Mark Thompson is going to open up the passing game. We just need somebody who's willing to take the risk and who's willing to sling the ball downfield. And I think both of them are that guy. Then, we just need to bring in some depth at linebacker, offensive line, and defensive back. Defensive back, there are legitimate starters out there that we have to get. These are the things. Make sure you're paying attention. January 15th. They said that they're going to be live tweeting the picks. So unlike the divisional dispersal draft, which is arguably going to be more exciting, they did not announce those picks as they came out, but they should be announcing the picks for the super draft. So it depends. Right now in Texas, It's supposed to freeze over on Sunday night, and then I might not have to go to work on Monday. And then who knows, I might be on here for a live stream talking to you guys, bringing up YouTube videos, showing the players that we're drafting. So stay tuned. But for now, let me know in the comments who's on your wish list. Who do you think we need to pick up? You know, if you're an XFL fan, who on the XFL side are you like, that guy's a hidden gem we need to grab? Let me know. I want to know. And also, this is my first episode with OBS. Let me know if it looks better. Let me know if it sounds better. Let me know if you liked the YouTube videos, you know, the presentation, all of that integrated. I'm really trying to up the game for you guys, and I hope you appreciate it and like it and subscribe and share it with your friends. Let people know if they're a Roughnecks fan, they need to be watching this show. So let them know. But until next time, drill, baby, drill, rough them up. See y'all after the draft.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney.